Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. This is where we learn how to use Adobe Express so that you can make professional graphics no matter what professional you are in. If you're not a professional, if you're a novice, if you're a beginner, if you are a professional, anyone can make amazing graphics in Adobe Express. And in this video, we're going to learn how to make animated graphics super easily using templates. So, let's go ahead and get into it. So the first step with Adobe Express, as always, is by going to adobe.com/express, and you'll get to this screen here. So if you don't have an Adobe account, you can make one really easily, and you can start a 30-day free trial, which is really nice. So if you don't have an account, go ahead and do that. If you do have an account, you'll want to click this button here, go to Adobe Express. I have an Adobe account, so that's what I'm going to click. Alright, and once you're past the login screen, you'll get here, which is our Adobe Express dashboard. So, since we're making an animated graphic, let's think about where we'd want to put an animated graphic. That could go on social media, so let's make an animated graphic for social media. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to this plus icon here and click that. And then let's go ahead and click social media, which will give us, easy templates that have the correct dimensions for posting onto social media. And let's just keep it simple. We'll go ahead and do an Instagram portrait post. So let's go ahead and do that, and then we'll click Browse Templates too. So here we have our canvas, and then on the left side, we're immediately getting populated with a bunch of templates that Adobe Express thinks that we might want to use. So obviously it's graduation season and Mother's Day just happened. Adobe Express is a smart software, so it's going to suggest you things that it thinks are relevant to you. So we have some Mother's Day templates here, we have graduation templates here, all that sort of stuff. And then May 26th we have, I think, is it Veterans Day? So all those kinds of templates going on. So let's go ahead and pick a template that we would like to use and animate. I'm gonna pick something that I think will be really fun to animate. So I think this one looks really interesting, so let's select this. And these tools that I'm about to show you are universal among the entire software of Adobe Express. So if there's something you see me doing on elements on this canvas, you can do those too on any project that you're doing. So follow along using this template or follow along using your own custom creation. You'll learn all the same. So in order to make elements on a screen animate, all you have to do is select them, just like any other tool. So let's say, just by looking at this, I want to make the heart pulse, which means get bigger and smaller, and then I want this circle here to kind of rotate. I think that'd be really cool. So the first thing we're going to want to do to make the heart pulse is select the heart by clicking on it, just like that. And then the next thing you want to do to make it move is go to the animation tab right here. Click on that. Now, we have three options here. We can do in, loop, or out. When you do in or out, it will make the animation cycle through one time. If you do it in, it'll go through from beginning to end. If you do out, it'll go from end to beginning. I'm gonna choose loop, because when you do loop, it continues to cycle indefinitely, which is perfect for GIFs, which are moving images essentially, and it's great for social media as well, but I'll get more into that later. So let's go ahead and select loop. And remember, we want to make this heart pulse. So let's try and find an animation style that will make it pulse. Oh, look at that! We actually have one right there. So as you can see, Adobe Express has a bunch of different animation styles for you here. So the cool thing about this is if you don't know which one you're going to choose yet, you don't have to select it. You can just hover over it and see what it does. So this is the breathe animation, and we can see our heart moving. This is the zoom in animation. Yo-yo, wiggle. But I think pulse is the way to go. So let's go ahead and select that. Now, the really cool thing about this is if you really want to get in the nitty-gritty and you want to change the style of the animation and how fast it's moving, how intense it is, you can change that. So I could actually speed this up. Let's go ahead and speed it up to 100%. And we can see it's really moving now. So let's speed it down a little bit to 80%. Yeah, that's great. And then We can change it from smooth to loud. That's pretty loud. Energetic. Soft. Okay, that's good. And then we can even lower the intensity. Alright, so I'm going to lower the intensity a little bit because I don't want it to be too distracting, so I'm going to keep it at 6. I think that's good. Okay, so here we have our heart. It's pulsing. And you may have noticed, once I made this animated, is we got a timeline down here. So what you see down here is a timeline. And essentially, Adobe Express is rendering this as a video right now. But we don't have to save it as a video. We can still save it as a different file. But again, I'll show you how that works later on. So if you want to see your animations and you have a timeline, the way you do that is by clicking the play icon here. And you can see the animations doing their thing, which is really cool. All right, so now let's animate the text for Mother's Day. So I want to make this wiggle just a little bit. That's perfect, and I'm actually okay with that. So let's lower the intensity just a little bit. That looks good to me. And then for this circle, I want to make it spin. So here we go. Let's make it spin. Or let's make it wiggle. Let's see what it does there. Okay, I think that looks good too. And I don't want to adjust this. I think it looks great just as it is. So now let's press our play icon and see how it all looks. Awesome. That looks great. I'm ready to save it. So we have some cool options when we have animations. So when you have animations, Adobe Express gives you options with how you want to save it. So in order to download this to your machine, you'll want to go to the download button right up here and click that. Okay, so this is where things get interesting. Here under file format, we have MP4, PDF, JPEG, and PNG. We're going to save this as an MP4. So an MP4 is essentially fancy language for a video. So once I save this as a video, I will be able to post this onto social media and it will render as a video. So we'll click download and then it'll save. Now, some of you may be wondering, okay, but Kennedy, if I want to upload this as a GIF, how do I do that? That's actually very simple. So Adobe Express has a really cool GIF making tool where you can take any MP4 and turn it into a GIF. So if you go to Adobe Express GIF Maker, here it is. Super easy to use. You click upload your video. And I'm going to go ahead and upload the video that I just made. There it is. Drag and drop it in. Boom. So I'm going to do this in medium quality because I don't need it to be that big. I don't need it to be super crazy. And then you'll just download. And this will convert it into a GIF. So that's how you create animations in Adobe Express and save them as a video and as a GIF for you to post all over social media and impress your family and friends. Thanks for watching this video. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one.